All right, so here you can see a photograph of a young man dressed in Rada attire. And so there is a kind of color coding that is absolutely essential in the practice of a specific rite. And the Rada rite requires all white. On the other hand, here you can see the Congo rite, Congo, which requires multiple colors. So you can also see quickly what rite is taking place because of the color coordination that takes place. Here's the Dahomian rite, which is also closely related to Rada, and as you can see, the practitioners are wearing all white. This photo's in Haiti, this photo's in Miami, and here you see another photograph of the Congo rite, where these beautiful colors are displayed. And so just imagine the kind of wardrobe that Vodou practitioners ultimately collect. Ritual wardrobe tends to be quite extensive, as specific clothes are required for specific events. So the basic features that occur in a ceremony. The ceremony lasts typically several hours. Each spirit in a rite receives one cycle of salutation. And as a rough sort of guide, we can say that there are 21 spirits in each rite. Sometimes there are fewer and sometimes there are more. But so there are at least, say, 21 cycles of salutation, each one dedicated to a spirit. Okay, and so that's the reason why the ceremonies tend to be so long. And then we are calling these cycles because the ritualizing takes place counterclockwise in a circular, cyclical motion. So Vodou ritual is a danced ritual and a moving ritual, and so that's why we refer to these cycles that literally rotate around a center point. And that center point is the poto mitan. This is the axis mundi, or the center of the spiritual universe in Vodou, and ritualizing occurs counterclockwise around it. Here's another poto mitan. So it's interesting to compare the different environments in which Vodou is practiced. You can see the scale of economies here, right? This is Miami, Little Haiti in this image, and here we have southern Haiti. But you can see the fundamentals are intact across the Caribbean. All right, so the salutations that take place in the station. So each cycle, this is basically the fundamental architecture of one cycle. And that architecture involves an exchange of the sacred rattle and scarves. The ritualists are wearing scarves that represent particular spirits. So if they wear a red scarf, they are saluting Ogu, and so on and so forth. So everything is very meticulously color-coded. There is a call for the members of the audience to rise respectfully. There is the circumambulation of the potomitan. Okay, and then the first station is the greeting of the four cardinal points, east, west, north, and south. That's considered a station because the ritualizers stop and greet the station. The second station is the circumambulation of the potomitan and the greeting of the drummers and the drum and the spirit of the drum, unto. And we're actually going to see a cycle of salutation for unto in just a moment. But it is the same type of cycle that you would see for any other spirit. At the drums, there are typically 3 curtsies, some kind of prostration, and very often a full head prostration in front of the drums. The third station is the greeting of the potomitan itself, so talking to the potomitan, or rather to the spirits that travel up and down the potomitan. The fourth station is the greeting of the altar room, and also thus of the initiation, the culture of initiation, because initiates travel into the altar room and sleep there for 7 days, not fully sleeping, but basically in seclusion. Will spend 7 days at the altar. And then the cycle closes with a dogui. And the dogui is a ritual that involves all the members of the community touching the ground and their hearts twice. Okay? So basically, everybody touches the ground and touches their heart twice. And that is the end of the cycle, and the asson is then exchanged, and typically several additional songs are sung in a kind of free-form worship sequence. We will not watch that today. We're going to just look at the cycle. But it's very often in this free-form portion that spirits will start dancing in the minds of practitioners. However, the spirits do what they want, and so they can come at any point in the ceremony. So let's jump over to this video and take a look at a 5-minute portion that is one cycle of salutation. And I'm going to open up my PowerPoint so that I can sort of walk you through this as the video plays. So let me just adjust this slightly. circumambulation. was a cycle of salutation. Did you ever see that before? No? All right. Well, as you can see, it's systematic. It's a systematic religion. It has its own rules and requirements. And it is very beautiful indeed and very powerful. All right. All right, so what now are the features that can be found throughout the Rada rite and most rites versus features that occur in single cycles of salutation? So in the few minutes that I have, maybe in 10 minutes, we'll try to end in this portion of the presentation. So the permanent features, of course, as you have noticed, are the priest, the ongan, the male, and the mambo, the female. Either can lead. There is no difference between ongan and mambo. They are absolutely equal. What really distinguishes them is who owns the temple. If the mambo owns the temple, she's obviously in charge. And the male priests will go to her for permission. And likewise, the same holds for men. The asson and the bell, right there you can see the asson. That is the single most sacred object in the Vodou tradition, and only a priest or an initiate may hold that. And the bell, which is held in the right hand. Libations and vaporizations are also a constant feature of Vodou ritualizing. So pouring out water, rum, coffee, whatever it is, or vaporizing it through the mouth, which of course adds quite a lot of drama to Vodou ceremonies, right? The priests spray rum. And they get very good at vaporizing rum. And it's a very powerful thing because a lot of times Vodouists fall into trance when they're vaporized. Or people who are teetering on the edge of having spirits dance in their heads are pushed over the edge with a good vaporization. So it's a wonderful thing to see. And then, of course, the colored silk scarf is canonical. There you can see the red scarf here. Clearly, this cycle in this photograph is for Ogu. There is always an assistant who holds a spirit's accoutrement. And in this case, you can see a sword. Again, it's Ogu. That's his accoutrement. So the accoutrement is a constant, but it constantly changes from cycle to cycle depending on the spirit. And then another assistant who holds a candle. Circumambulation is a permanent feature. The stations that are saluted are permanent features. Those stations that you saw saluted are saluted in every cycle of salutation.